Good evening everyone and welcome to Gundam News. This time brought to you by Ryan Tang and his Captain Overdrive Novels series. A series that is all about virtual reality mech battles where the pride of the pilot and the parts of their personalized machines are on the line. Something that will surely be attractive to the Build Fighter fans in the audience. And as with his previous books, the story includes traditional real robot elements like with Gundam, but also mixes in some super robot elements and cyborgs. The third book, Cerberus Tank, has just been released and is currently available on Amazon for $4.99. And if you haven't checked out the first two books in the series, Mech Slasher and Pyrite Seraph, they're currently on sale for 99 cents a piece until the 16th. All three books are linked down below and are definitely worth checking out. As for the other reading material then that you could get this week, there was the weekly Mobile Suit Bible, this time featuring the enormous Shamblo. And you know what was also quite enormous? Wednesday, which was Zaku Day. And of course, Bandai unveiled a lot of new stuff for Cucuruz Doan's island. First up, we have this really cool teaser visual of the Gundam facing off against Doan's Zaku, and they also released a theatrical banner showing off the wide base crew with like a reference to the first opening, to the opening of the first Gundam in the background. And then we also have the full setting images for Cucuruz Doan, his Zaku, and the RX-78-2. So Doan himself is going to be voiced by Shunsuke Takeuchi, who previously voiced the producer from Idolmaster Cinderella Girls, and overall his backstory doesn't seem to be too different from the Doan we see in the mainline anime. It's just a little bit more fleshed out. He deserted from the Zeon army, he's living on an island with some kids, but apparently he does hide a secret too. Only time will tell what that secret is. And if it is in the manga, for anyone who has read the manga, no spoilers down below please. His Zaku then is certainly interesting looking, and what immediately struck me wasn't how damaged or weathered it looked, but it was the face, like the snout in particular. It immediately reminded me of like those badly drawn Zakus, which is what I wouldn't be surprised that this thing is referencing. But I guess an explanation for that could be that that's like a repair job that Doan did himself. So in a way, they could have actually incorporated like the badly drawn Zakus into the canon. The damaged and repaired look then is also a nice touch. Definitely makes it look more distinct, and of course just also fits with what the hell the thing is supposed to be in the story. And then finally we have the RX-78-02 Gundam, and well, it is the RX-78-02 Gundam after it has been overhauled at Jaburo. If you then want some Gunpla of these two, then I've also got some good news, but also some bad news, and just by me saying that, you should already know where this is going. High grades of both the RX-78-02 and Doan Zaku were announced, but they're going to be P Bandai because of course. More details will be released at a later date, we just have the one image at the moment, but I think we can make some assumptions here. Because of how damaged the Zaku is, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets entirely new armor parts with just the inner frame being the same. I do wonder how they're going to handle the multicolored parts then, and the parts where the gray inner frame pokes through. But I guess wondering isn't the correct term here. I fear for how they're going to do it would be more correct because, well, unfortunately, it is P Bandai and they are kind of known for using a lot of stickers. And the Gundam then, again, because it is P Bandai, the easiest and simplest way they could give us this thing is by simply taking the existing origin version, cutting out all of the things to make the older version, and just give us like a new sheet of marking stickers. And then if you want to see the RX-7802 squaring off against Doan Zaku, you can. They did release that part of the movie onto YouTube, but you're gonna need NordVPN to do so, which you can do with a neat discount with the link down below, or the code KKRT. Usual stuff, you get NordVPN and you're supporting the channel. But that is not all. We also got the silhouettes of the former team members of Doan, the Southern Cross Squadron, and also the machines that they'll be piloting. And those Zakus that they're piloting sure have some interesting silhouettes. Like, my first thought, and probably quite some of your first thoughts, is that they are high mobility type R2 Zakus, like the one Johnny Ryden is piloting. But when you look at the sides of the knee and like the inner sides of the lower legs, those are still those of the regular Zaku, whereas with the R2s on the knees, they have like armor parts that jump out, and on the inside they're more blocky. So I'm going to assume that there's some kind of high mobility customization of a regular Zaku. Then some other things that I noticed are the spikes sticking out both from the right shoulder shield and from the waist armor. Now, for the waist armor, at first I thought that was just like the Heat Hawk or something, but then I noticed that on 4 of the 5 Zakus, there's 2 spikes sticking out, except for the commander unit. So either there's some kind of customized weapon that has those 2 spikes that's sticking out, that's mounted onto the side skirt, or maybe there's some kind of high mobility unit stuck to the back skirt. And then the other difference between the commander unit and the regular units is that it has what appears to be an extra communication antenna. Then in terms of weapons, we see the standard origin version of the Zaku Bazooka, the Miguela top cannon, I think, 2 regular Zaku machine guns, and then finally the rare version of the Zaku machine gun that has a bayonet attached to it. These things were only handed out to select pilots for field testing, like the Black Tri-Stars, so this definitely seems to suggest that these guys are going to be no pushovers. And then also, to promote the movie, they're holding some kind of mystery treasure hunting event at Odaiba from March 11th until March 31st. By investigating Doan's Island, which they're going to be replicating there, they're not showing any pictures yet, participants must help to locate the missing Gundam. Does kind of sound like fun though, but of course we're not going to be able to join in on that. And while we won't be able to find the RX-7802 Gundam, you might be able to find the high-grade Phantom Gundam at your door in June, because pre-orders for this thing started on last week Friday. And even though I'm not a huge fan of the overall aesthetics of the machine itself, with like the colors and such, I gotta say, for 2,750 yen, a little under 25 US, this definitely looks like it's going to be one hell of an impressive set with all of those energy effect parts going on. It's not often that I look at a P-Bandai kit and my first thought is, damn, that looks like a really good deal. But when I looked at this thing, my first thought literally was, damn, that's a pretty good deal. The only downside for some people will be that to transform it into whatever the hell you want to call this mode is, parts forming is required, but so be it. And then alongside of it, the high-grade Crossbone Gundam X-Zero also went on resale. And then what also went up for pre-order was the Gundam World 2021 Contrast Carddass Masters Premium Edition number 2, featuring 2 sets of cards you can either buy separately for 2,000 yen, a little under 20 US, or together for 4,000 yen, around 35 US. The cards feature the original Gundam, Gundam Seed, and Gundam Seed Destiny, but for some reason Best Girl isn't included, so for that reason, I'm out. In the gaming news then, we got the announcement that Gundam Evolution will also be coming to PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, and the Xbone. So that's definitely some good news for fans who wanted to try out the game, but couldn't get their hands on a decently priced graphics card. And talking about the computer port, from April the 8th to the 12th, network stress testing will be happening for the Steam version of the Japanese and North American version of the game, which have also been confirmed to be launching simultaneously, after which they'll also be expanding to Europe and Asia. But Asia is confirmed to only be getting the PC version. Then, if you want to participate in the network test, all you gotta do is go to the Steam page of the game and then click on Request Access. You can apply until March 28th, and if you are selected, you will be notified on the 31st, at which point on the Steam page there will be a Play Now button. So, good luck to all of my North American viewers, and maybe there's also a few Japanese viewers, so good luck to all of you too. And then for anyone hoping that this will become like a major esports title, it does look like Bandai is putting their weight behind their previously mentioned goal of getting Gundam into the esports scene. The Gundam Game Grand Prix ended this week, which was an Extreme vs 2 Cross Boost tournament, and they also launched a new service called the Gundam Game Tournament Meister, whose goal it is to facilitate participation in tournaments in Japan. So then, as for the things we could buy this week, today we saw the release of the high-resolution model Gundam Astray Red Frame Powered Red for 17,600 yen, around 150 US. The very chonky and impressive looking rendition of the Red Frame. And then on the same day we got the less technically impressive master grade of the Rigdom, which is basically the old kit, but with a handful of upgrades here and there. So I do wonder how much of an upgrade it's going to be in total. I'm not expecting a huge, impressive kit, but that is, after all, the best mindset to actually be impressed with something. Either way, this thing will set you back 5,500 yen, around 45 US, which also isn't too much more than its older counterpart, which went for 4,400 yen, around 35 US. So overall, it's not an offensive release, it's just extremely underwhelming and just feels kinda annoying because it feels like it's taking up space of another master grade another new master grade. Then from the Gundam base, today you could buy the clear colored Dynamis Gundam for 4,950 yen, a little over 40 US, and if you then want some appropriate beats to build your Gunpla to, on the 9th, Hiroko Moriguchi's Gundam Song Covers 3 went for sale for 3,300 yen, around 30 US, featuring hits like Tobe, the original Gundam opening, Beyond the Time from Char's Counterattack, Meteor from Gundam Seed, and more. On to this week's Gundam apparel then, where Bankore was also celebrating Zaku Day, with their appropriately named Mobile Suit Gundam Zaku Day Items Collection, which, surprisingly enough, features a variety of Zaku designs on a variety of items. There is a Zaku Day t-shirt for 3,300 yen, 30 US, a Zaku Day full panel t-shirt for 5,500 yen, 45 US, a Zaku Day hoodie for 8,250 yen, 75 US, a Zaku Day mug for 2,200 yen, a little under 20 US, a Zaku Day full panel face towel for also 2,200 yen, and finally a Zaku Day two-way tote bag for 5,940 yen, 50 US. Reservations opened on Zaku Day itself, and all of the items are currently scheduled for an April release. And then from Strict G, we got the usual collaborations. First up is another one with Alpha Industries to create some really cool looking Hathaway's Flash inspired outerwear. You can get a light MA1 Nada's jacket in either Earth Federation theme or MAFTI theme for 37,400 yen, around 320 US, an M65 jacket in the same two themes for 39,600 yen, around 340 US. There's a white or navy MAFTI shirt, a white or charcoal Kirke unit shirt, or a black Manhunter shirt for 4,180 yen, 35 US. There's a green long sleeve t-shirt with Houndzon Flight 356 theme for 5,280 yen, 40 US. A black hoodie with Xi Gundam theme or navy hoodie with Penelope theme for 8,580 yen, 70 US. An FCPO coach jacket for 12,100 yen, 100 US, a MAFTI ripstop jacket for 8,580 yen, 75 US, and finally a MAFTI muffler towel for 1,760 yen, a little under 15 US. Then their second collaboration was with Mon Camel, and together they created the Capsule Collection. And no, unlike what the name might be suggesting, you're not getting your clothes shipped to you in a Gachapon capsule. The name of this collection actually refers to something they never mention again, so your guess is as good as mine, honestly. But the eye catcher here is definitely the styling. The collection consists of a Basque shirt in either Federation Navy, Xeon Green, or Red Comet Black for 16,500 yen, 140 US, a long-sleeved Basque t-shirt for 8,800 yen, 75 US, and a long-sleeved version for 7,700 yen, 65 US, available in Earth Federation Blue, Xeon Green, or Red Comet Red. Then there's a shirt with a pocket in either Earth Federation White, Xeon Green, or Red Comet Black. And then we get t-shirts for 5,280 yen, 45 US, not with Japanese text, not with English text, but with French text. So there's a blue Force Spatiale Fédérale, a green Force de Zéon, and a red La Comète Rouge t-shirt. And we've also got Char's famous quote on there, "Les erreurs de jeunesse sont toujours difficiles à assumer, surtout les siennes." And considering that Char's name is actually taken from a Frenchman, it does even kind of make sense in universe for him to speak French in a way. And then finally, there's work pants for 12,100 yen, 100 US, available in either Earth Federation Beige, Xeon Green, or Red Comet Black. And you can immediately unleash your inner French Comet, as most of these Strict G items went on sale last week Friday, the only exception being the French t-shirts that will go on sale on the 12th. And then let's wrap up this week's Gundam news by having a look at some polls. First up, the currently ongoing one. So, Gundam.info has this ongoing segment called Gundam Meets Business, where they relate, or where they explain certain business things through a Gundam lens. I don't really follow it, but the poll surrounding it is kind of funny to look at. What kind of leader would you want to be? Or, as you could also interpret the question in this context, which Gundam character would you want to have leading your company? And both the picks and the results so far are quite interesting. In the lead, we have Romaral with 251 votes, which is something that for the most part I can totally get behind. He's a rugged veteran leader, he's amazing at leading, he knows what he's doing, and he's also great with his men. The only problem I can foresee here is, what is he going to do when the company starts to tank? In second place then we have Bright Noah, and judging by the image, it is 1 year War Bright. So while he might be inexperienced, he does make the most of the situation and pulls through in the end. The only problem here is that he's an HR nightmare waiting to happen. Then in a distant third place we have Shiro Amada. I prefer my leaders not to desert in the direction their genitals are pointing. And then in last place we have Agil Delaz. You know that one friend who just can't shut up about his exes? Well, I imagine Delaz being that guy, but instead with all of the bankrupt companies that he worked for. I vote for General Revel on the Federation side, and I vote for Dozal Zabi on the Zeon side. Both for the kind of leader that I'd want to be, and both for the kind of leader that I'd want to work for. Let me know what you guys think down below. And then we end this video with the same topic that we began it with. Zaku Day. Truly one of the biggest holidays in the Gundam fandom. Because Gundam.info wanted to know which one of the Zakus our favorite was, and the results are in. And aren't really that surprising, to be honest. 54.1% of the votes went to the ever-popular Zaku 2. Like, for a lot of people, the Zaku 2 is just the Zaku, whether it's the standard green Zaku or Shart's custom Zaku. Like, even if you're doing a poll about the most popular mobile suit period, the Zaku 2 would still do really well on that thing. Then in a distant second place with 21.3%, the always bulky Zaku 3. It might not be number one in the poll, but it will always be number one in our hearts. Then in third place we have the odd one out, the Hyzak with 13.9%, which, I mean, I can imagine a couple of Zeon loyalists definitely not wanting this thing to be considered a Zaku. And in last place, the poor Zaku 1 with the remaining 10.7%. Maybe next time, buddy. I gotta say though, there are quite some interesting alternate universe picks that they kinda missed out on that could have made this poll more interesting, because I can definitely see something like the Zaku Warrior putting up more of a fight against the popularity of the Zaku 2. But I can understand them wanting to do a UC poll this year, and then maybe next year they can do the alternate universe version of it. But anyways, that has been all for this week's Gundam news. Don't forget to check out Ryan Tang's Captain Overdrive series. Again, links down below. As always, a big thank you to the Patreon supporters. I hope everyone watching had a great Zaku day and has a great evening. And I'll see you all next week with more Gundam news.